Yo guys, what's up? It is good to be back. I missed you. I know everybody says that, but I missed you guys so much. I didn't even plan on streaming, but you got a lot of stuff going on. I had a long weekend. It was a good weekend. Went to Moonrise Festival in Maryland. It was awesome. I got a lot on my mind, and I just wanted to be with the fam, go over the charts, do as we do. So thanks for joining us. Thanks for being here. Don't forget to smash the likes and subscribes, vote in the polls, chat during the live stream. All those things count as engagement. The more engagement we get, the more YouTube shows this live stream to new people, and it really makes a difference. Thank you guys so much for doing that out there. Quick shout out to our sponsors, Femex and Market Cipher. You guys are amazing. Amazeballs. Love you. Love both of them. Use both of them personally. Check out their links in the video description below. And let's jump into it, man. It's good to be back. Not too much has changed since our last stream, but I'm seeing some things that I like, and I'm seeing some things that I'm hoping are going to come true. So we're going to take a look at obviously our live trade. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin's chart. We're going to take a look at the dollar because something interesting is going on. We have Bitcoin. We have a surprise Bitcoin chart. You're going to look at Ethereum, I think Celsius token, near Ethereum Classic, BNB flow, and honestly, whatever else you guys come up with during the live stream. So let me know what you want to see out there, and we'll probably take a look. I don't know what's up with the camera. Maybe it's just on my side. Hopefully, it looks like it's dropping frames or something, but our connection seems good, so let's just push through it. Changes. Zooming into the day, we have the 200 weekly here in the blue. This is the line of last defense for the bulls that we've been talking about. We've been praying would hold. Looks like yesterday we did close a bullish engulfing candle after intraday trading below. That's a good show from the bulls, especially after putting in a higher high here today. However, there's always a however. We got 4.5 hours left. This candle is not in the best condition. We're going to want to see some upside action into the end of this close. If we see much more selling pressure, we could see a pretty nasty looking red hammer on the daily after a high. We can see that this has really been the case, and it's been keeping us down. 1, 2, we can even go back here and say 3 maybe attempts here, where we get a higher high and it just gets sold off. This is not the ideal scenario that I've been hoping for, but if you guys have been following this channel, you probably remember me saying something along the lines of, I want this to be as boring and as doubtable as possible. The faster we move up, the faster we retrace, the less likely we are to hold those gains. So in that sense, we are doing the slow march up. I don't really see people getting excited about, this higher high today, really. And I think that's a good sign. The more people that are kind of left in the dark or left on the sideline as price is creeping up, the more potential we have for actually seeing a real retracement. We're going to get into where that might be in this episode, kind of the area I'm looking at. But let's go over our in-stream trades really quick just to update you. We are down 10% with our average entry price of 23.5K. This is almost a $10,000 short. And it's not looking so hot. I'm not going to lie. This is a little uncomfortable. Tad uncomfortable. But I'm okay. Our liquidation is sitting at 29,000, and we have some orders kind of waiting in preparation to see if we get a real retracement like that will help us stay in the game if we do have some kind of wick to the upside. Here's all my active orders. I don't think anything has really changed since the last stream, but just you can pause it, check them out if you'd like. You can see we're looking to take profit below our entry. And this maybe is not the most comfortable position. 24.1K, if we look back, isn't that bad. It really is not that bad for a short potential here, as it's really the highest traded value we've seen since we fell in June. We're pretty high up there. I'm not sure how you guys are feeling. We'll probably change the poll to get a little sentiment check. If you're feeling bullish or bearish, going long here seems logical because we're above the 200, but at the same time, you're potentially going long at the highest point since we've fallen, and that's really going to cramp that risk to reward out there. If you guys haven't seen the new video, it's pinned to the top of the chat. It's a new educational short our editor made it. Shout out to Hobo. He's been making awesome content, guys. Highly recommend you check that video out. There's a playlist. We're going to have eventually a whole catalog of these little gem videos. And no, I didn't make them, so they're not crap. They're actually quality content. I hope you guys enjoy them. I hope you're enjoying them. I'm loving them. They're blowing me away. So let's take a look at something interesting here. On Market Cipher B, this is what I've been watching on the daily. We've been really waiting since May. We saw a really low swing low in money flow. We just barely managed to not set a lower low in June, and we've been watching the daily roll over. Money flow is essentially describing, is fiat entering or exiting this pair? When it's red, it's exiting. When it's green, it's entering. That's probably the easiest way to understand it. And if we look here, we can see that as of yesterday's close, we're back in the green money flow on the daily. This has not been true. This has not been true since April. And you can see even in April, these money flow trips to the positive side were very muted. They were very heavily sold into. And so I'm actually digging what we're seeing on the daily here. Momentum is remaining positive. I need to see a higher high. I don't want to see this fizz. If I see something like this, I'm thinking this is going to fizzle out. But at the moment, we don't have pinching on our momentum bands, and it's signaling for potentially further upside. And I think that's going to make sense once we break down the chart here. It's like, look at this weekly. This is what's spicy. We managed to close above the 200. We're above the 200 still on the weekly. We have 3 days to go. Anything can happen, but we are seeing a series of higher highs and a series of higher lows. Now, this can be really construed in many ways, and I think that you guys tune in here to learn from, you know, not necessarily I know everything, but you learn just from me going through charts and experimenting. You know that this is probably not the most bullish looking pattern, and in fact, if we really wanted to draw it, we might even be able to draw it as a flat top. I think that's stretching it a little bit, but we'd been looking at this before, are worried about some kind, maybe that looks good, some kind of parallel channel, some kind of ascending parallel channel here. And the reason we're worried about that is it would start to look a lot like back in December. We had a series of higher highs and higher lows, and well, we fell down, broke 20K, and we've been down in the muck since. So this is something I'm very much taking seriously and very much watching. I'm praying the bulls can hold on to this 200. If we start closing candles under the 200 again, we're really in uncharted territory. Bitcoin's never really spent a significant amount of time outside of 2015. There was a few weekly candles that kind of dicked around the 200 like they're doing now, but it's not price action we're familiar with. And so not really what I'm hoping to see. I'm really hoping that we can get a solid close. And if we look in on the weekly here, we see that it doesn't take too much. The bears definitely came in and did some selling into last week's close, but a close this week above 23.3, and we have a bullish engulf on the weekly. And when we combine that, our MACD, our momentum is finally positive. It's reaching up there. I want to see it continue into the next week, and I want to see it exceed April's high in momentum here, because what we can start seeing then is a higher high building, potentially a higher time frame momentum building up. And if we look and zoom out, we can see starting in May of 21, when we crashed from 65K, our lows, despite price going lower, has not signaled more intense selling momentum. That is by all means bullish divergence, however you want to paint it. We just need to see a real reversal. This is a good thing. Now we want to see the opposite on the buying side if we're going to see upside. I'm really also liking what we're seeing on Market Cipher B for the weekly. This low swing in momentum is a little threatening, but what I'm digging here is it looks all but ready to roll over. Money flow in the red, and you can see this historically has not happened often. On Coinbase, in fact, this is the third time ever, I want to say. 1, 2, 3, maybe back here, but we don't have the data. Third time at least in the last 3 or 4 years. It is a lower swing low here than in 2019 in October, so that's not ideal. What we're going to really need to see is not just a rollover into positive money flow, but we're going to need to see some highs broken. We're going to need to see something that I don't think we're really expecting to see. that would be some sustained and strong upside movement. Now, Market Cipher did give us the green dot on the weekly 2 weeks ago. It confirmed and closed. That is a good, at least local bottoming signal. And of course, well, not of course, but we see that price did follow suit. It did continue up, just maybe not kind of where or as far as we would like. So I wanted to show you guys this. If you saw me on BitBoy earlier, this might be a little recap, but I'll go into a little more detail. I didn't really get to talk there too much. Bitcoin on the quarterly here. There's a few things I think we're kind of forgetting. Our quarterly managed to close just above the previous all-time high. So on a quarterly time frame, we are seeing that being held as support. Trading below, I would honestly say trading below last quarter's low, possibly even this quarter's low, is going to be a very bearish signal. It's going to really kind of eliminate the potential here that I'm hoping for and seeing somewhat, which is a return to the 2021 open that's sitting at about 29K. I think that is totally possible in these next 2 months, because we have 2 months to go before this quarterly closes. And what happens there, I don't really know. I wish I had the answers. We could see it continue up. We could see, even if we had a very bullish, maybe next 2 months, we could see the bulls potentially contest the Q2 open. We could see it potentially contest a bullish engulf on the quarterly, which would be an amazing signal, but we're really far away from there. And so right now, my sights are mostly concerned at 28,990. You guys know we played this number a good amount. 18,890 we played as well many times in trades. These are going to be critical because we see on the quarterly there is no real resistance here, but there certainly is some resistance to be found in that 29K area as these quarterlies kind of bounced around before falling through them. So to see a back test of that support as resistance would be a pretty technical move. I think the probability is in favor of it by the end of the next 50 days, but we're still pretty far out there. I have a piece of evidence here that I'm going to give to you guys. Do with you will. We don't do financial advice here, so it's all just educational. It's just hoping you guys can develop your own trading mindset and be able to kind of read these charts yourselves and not blindly follow, I don't know, people telling you what to do. This is catching my eye. So on the dollar, the Dixie has been a really big thing for us the last few months. You can see these quarterlies are absolutely beast mode. Absolutely beast mode. 1, 2, 3, 4, technically on its 5th green quarterly candle. That's 15 months of green. But here's what I'm digging. Our last rate hike, if you guys were here, that was an awesome show. Thanks for joining. On our last rate hike, we kind of plotted out what a rejection might look like. And we said about 108.6 is our target. And if we see a rejection from there, we might start to look for strength in equities again, such as crypto and stocks. Well, taking a look at this quarterly, and again, there's 50 days left. Way too early to call anything. Way too early. But it's starting to look like maybe we were right. This is starting to turn into somewhat of a spinning top candle. It won't take much lower trading to turn this into a nasty red hammer candle. That could be our reversal sign. If we zoom this down into the weekly, we can see currently the dollar is in a bearish engulfed weekly. That's not too different from what we saw in May, so that's not quite excitement worthy. But really what's happening on the day is what I'm enjoying. If you guys remember me plotting this out, we said the rate hike, we saw a nice little rally into it, but it looks like it's getting sold off and it might be a bear or a bull trap, and we might expect price to fall below and then find resistance at what was local support. We see that right here, 106, basically 0.5. The TA was respected virtually perfectly. It rallied back up to 106.5 and it sold off and fell to our measured move, to our 104.7. Down here, the quarterly is red. So you can see even today and yesterday, the quarterly was temporarily red.
29K baby. Pass that hopium cigarette. Thanks for the financial advice, bro.
What's up, Mr. Casper? Shout out to Mr. Casper. I love you, Jason. I hope you're doing good, my friend. Let me pull that up. Mr. J. Casper. You have a wrench, right? Yeah, you have a wrench. Good. You guys go subscribe to Jason Casper as well. If you guys like this content, you're gonna like Jason Casper's content. He's just a good dude. Trades live. Very similar to us. I'll throw his link in the channel just for stopping by. You know, I'm a nice guy like that. Go ahead, give him a follow then. But you can see today and yesterday, the dollar was trading in a red quarterly candle, and that may be the rejection. If we see by the end of this week, I think tomorrow's Friday, so I guess just tomorrow, a close below 104.7, or even really intraday trading, I'm thinking that this support might not be holding. Now, we do have kind of a mega support down here. This acted as heavy resistance on the way up, and that's 103.8. If the dollar loses 103.8, we are basically, in my opinion, free falling to 100, and that's probably going to be good for our pockets when it comes to our investments. Maybe not so much for our cash holdings. But I'm keeping a very close eye. The dollar is showing some weakness. However, we originally drew it like this. You know, maybe we can expand it out. We could still end up seeing the dollar falling and breaking back up. This might set it up for an even bigger head and shoulders, but we're kind of extrapolating out too far at that point. So the dollar, huge player here. It followed the TA. That rate hike, we're not having a rate hike this month. There is no FOMC meeting, which sucks because that's our biggest day. That's your guys' favorite day, my favorite day. Maybe we'll find something else to watch together. But there won't be any rate hikes. And so I think what's happening is markets are taking a little sigh of relief. They don't necessarily know what's coming in September, but they know, at least for now, they're not going to have any changes. They're not going to have any mix-ups, and markets love certainty. So I think we have potentially a pretty solid end of this month ahead of us. I think that is a reasonable statement. Of course, no one knows the future, but without these hawkish Fed movements and the Fed not even really congregating and making public statements, I think the markets are going to really lean into that and take advantage of some of these losses that we've seen across the board lately. What's up, Mad Eye, my man? Taking the scribe virginity of the channel. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. Make sure you're in the Discord. And anyone else out there, if you haven't smashed the like and subscribe buttons, man, join the fam. Help us get to 420 likes. It's our target every day. Every single time we stream, that's our target. If we get 420 likes, I give you guys a little gift. I believe in you. We have 130. We got plenty of time to get to 420. So let's do it. Bitcoin on the monthly. I'm trying to make these as simple as possible. We have the 200 weekly on here again. We closed the first monthly candle under the 200 weekly moving average ever back in July, and you can see, or in June, and in July we kind of popped back up. We didn't really get the rebound we wanted, but we did pop back up and close above it, and we are trading above it still. And the logical, as we couldn't see on the quarterly, we can see on the monthly here, we do have a logical resistance, and that's going to be May's swing low at about 25K. I have very high confidence that that target will be hit. I don't know the path it will take, but I'm hard pressed to think it will technically even stop there. So what we have here is above 25K. So if we clear that low, we have a pretty big void of volume. You can see on the way up, this was very briefly traded, and on the way down, very briefly traded. And that means there's not likely to be significant support or resistance to be found in this area, simply because our volume profile will tell us. If you want to open that up at home, you're welcome to. On the other side of the hand, and this is kind of the bad side, is the same is true below June's low. So below about 17.6 all the way down to 13.8, we really don't have much support. Now, I was looking for like 17.2 from the second high touch here. I don't even know if it's going to put it on there for me. I was looking for about 17.2. We didn't quite make it to 17.2, but I think at 17.5, 17.6, we're basically going to call that as support tested, especially with these monthly closes. This is the gamble we're in. This is the gamble, and this is why I'm not super comfortable with the kind of daily pattern we're seeing. Is there's not much below us, there's not much above us, and whenever this decides to break, I think it's going to make a big move. I think it's going to ferociously move up or ferociously move down. I don't think once we clear 25 or 17.6 that we're going to have like a low volatility kind of period. I think it's going to get very, very spicy. On the monthly, there's something I wanted to point out as well. We are potentially now, finally, potentially looking at the first waning selling momentum candle right there, August. It is not closed yet. There is so much time. Don't get excited about it yet, but keep an eye on it. if August does close with waning selling momentum, this could be an early tip-off that we have upside to come. These are big time frames. If you look back to, let's say, 2019, you can see as soon as we closed a waning momentum candle, we went right back to positive buying momentum. That didn't, I guess that really didn't bring us too far, but it did bring us down from, I think, about 3K to 14K. And this momentum is way lower. This is the most oversold, the most extremely sold Bitcoin has ever been in its history. And it's quite spicy times. I'm not going to lie. We have only one. If you look at this chart, we have only one fake out candle, meaning our momentum was increasing. On the buy side, it started waning off, and we had one fake out, October of last year. That's it. Outside of that, the monthly has very consistently rolled over whenever either the bulls or the bears have started to lose their momentum. So very spicy times. That's quite a time away. Let's see how many days. 20 days. I mean, anything could happen. We could literally be at 13K, or we could be at 46K. Way too much time to really get into it. Just keep an eye on those monthly indicators, because they're starting to show us the first signs of a potential reversal. Oops, didn't mean to do that. So bounce targets here on Bitcoin. Using our full retracement, we're kind of looking, that 2021 open puts us at the 382, a very shallow retrace, suggesting a rejection from there could be very brutal. If we take it a little closer and just use March as a kind of swing low to swing high, that puts us at the 0.5 retrace. The most likely retracement value is at 2021 open. This is just an important value to the chart, really any way you look at it. And to me, that just suggests that the market makers are going to look to push price there. If you think kind of game theory, imagine how many positions got caught all through the summer of 2021, all through January, February, even March, April, May of this year. Lots of positions are caught there. And if they bought, they may look to escape that position right there at that previous resistance. And it may act as support, rejecting price. So we've got a long way to go. But what I do like is we're starting to see a little higher time frames show us some goodness. And that's the first step to moving back up. Honestly, guys, whether we're in like a prolonged bear market or not, I don't know. It certainly seems that everyone's accepted that, and that's like kind of what everyone's vibing with and feeling. But this cycle has been very unusual. It has not been like the previous cycles. I don't really want to name names or anything, but like lots of people have been talking about the 4-year cycle, and guys, this really doesn't line up with what we've seen in the past. This is just Coinbase's chart, not BLX, so we don't have the full history. But if we look at our lows to our highs, man, 15,000% from June 15th to June 18th. If we look at our cycle low to cycle high now, just under 2,000. Now, I'm not expecting 15,000% every cycle, but that is such a diminished return. It seems way out of skew. And so I think the silver lining I'm getting to here is this cycle has not been like the previous ones, and it's caught me off guard a lot. So what everyone's expecting, a typical retracement, right? Everyone's expecting, I don't know why there isn't a line there. Everyone's expecting a typical retracement of 84, 85%. That would bring us down to 10K. I hear the 10K number more and more every day. I think it's maybe that's not the most intelligent or most rational move. We didn't get the upside from the previous cycles. And so now to expect the same downside, I think doesn't really line up. It lines up with what emotionally feels good, because this has been the most miserable price action, I think, in Bitcoin's history. We're looking at monthly candles, and we have 3 red, 2 virtually nowhere green, and then 3 giant red in a row, and now virtually nowhere 2 greens. This has been some of the most brutal trading, some of the absolute most savage price action Bitcoin's ever thrown at us. I'm gonna get off Bitcoin. I'm gonna go to the other coins and such here quick. But let me zoom into the daily. So we have August's open, basically where today started. When we trade below August's open, August turns red. While we're above it, it's green. What we do have here is we do have a local daily support at 23,850. Now, we haven't tested that in today's candle. If we see buying into the end of the day today, I could definitely see something like this happening, a rejection from 25.3, come back, test this as support, and hopefully move higher. Oops. hopefully move higher. What just happened to my chart? I have no idea what just happened. There we go. Or possibly we could even see selling into the end of today and backtesting that early. As long as that holds, I think that puts us in a really good position for a measured move to the upside, which I haven't even looked at recently. Doesn't really line up that well with anything. It looks like kind of 27.2. Maybe if I use like from here. Yeah, nothing adds up super well. I think this swing high to swing low gets us like very close to the open, but something still feels unfinished to me. I still feel like this pattern is not quite done. I do like yesterday's close. I do like how Market Cipher is showing us some positive momentum and positive buying on the daily and weekly, potentially even monthly time frames. But we gotta see it. We gotta see it reflect in price. I think basically we can say if we can make it to a 618 retracement, so from 48K down to 17.5, if we can make it back to that golden pocket, that would put us back at about 32.8, and 32.8 even then is still technically in dead cat bounce territory. So maybe we do need to see that ripper that no one's expecting, kind of like a melt up. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but that's seemingly at this point, unless we get a move down, the only thing that's really going to change this chart up. I don't love kind of the price action that's going on. It reminds me a lot of May with your wick low and kind of your consolidation with higher highs, and then you fell. You got your wick low, you got higher highs, your consolidation. And so if we repeat May, we'd be looking for something like this. And as I said, there's not a lot of support. There's not a lot of support once you get underneath that 17.6. It is possible that it bounces at 17.2 perfectly, but my bet would definitely be on around that 13.8 number if we do see big sellers come in and the 200 weekly lost. So far, so good. You can even see on the daily visually that it's holding support, and that's a good sign. But it's a good sign as long as we're above it. If we start trading below it, not so much of a good sign. Yeah, baby. Let's see. Yeah, low traded volume. We basically have gaps above us and below us. So I promised you guys a special Bitcoin chart, and this is it. This is probably something not a lot of people are looking at, and that's maybe one of the advantages of this channel. What we do here every day is we try to take a look at things from a different perspective, and preferably perspectives that other people aren't looking at. So in front of you is actually Bitcoin Euro. So it's just Bitcoin, but with euros and the cost in euros. The euro has really collapsed as the dollar exploded. Man, I need a sip. As the dollar exploded. And that can pretty easily explain away, I guess, kind of the differences in these charts. I'm just going to really quick bring up the dollar, hide everything. So if you take kind of like an imaginary thing here, you can see this wick low in May. We haven't traded back above it, and that's still substantially lower than 2021's low on the dollar. And if we go over to the euro, we can see that really 2021's low was the lowest point in price until it just fell through the bottom. So what I like here is the BTC Euro is responding to the 200. On the weekly, we bullish engulfed out of it. We've basically only had green candles. And what I like is on the weekly, we've tested. This was support, 24,000 euros, was support back here. 1, 2, 3, technically failed on the 4th time. But now we've 1, 2, now 3 times tested it as resistance, and we haven't seen a rejection. That is a good sign. The more it tests, the more it hits 24K, the weaker and weaker that's going to become. And so here's a little bit of alpha, a little bit of kind of edge on trading. Take a look at the BTC Euro chart yourself. I have alerts set for just above 24K, because if BTC Euro somehow breaks out, goes and starts trading into the 25, whatever, 26K area, I think that is likely going to be a green light for some other pairs. Now, if the euro rebounds, regains a bunch of its strength, we may see the opposite happen. And really a lot of the distortion of this chart is due to kind of the power swapping going on between the dollar and euro. But it's just a spicy chart. And to be honest, it's just a little bit more bullish looking in my opinion. And I'll take that. After 9 months of misery, I'll take a little bit of a bright side. So BTC Euro, there you are. There's your little secret alpha. Ethereum. So we have been waiting for weeks. We had been waiting for 1700 to be back tested on Ethereum. This is essentially Bitcoin's, what is this? 25.5K. The wick low that broke and we fell to a new low back in May. Ethereum's equivalent is right here at 1700. And if we look to the left, 1700 actually super important to this chart. Ethereum broke to a new all-time high, tested it once, twice, 3 times. This looked terrible. This looked super, super bearish. After 3 tests, 3 lower highs, somehow still managed to sneak out a higher high. But it did fall, and it now has not just back tested what was support, it's actually broken through. And this is catching my eye. It's a divergence from the Bitcoin chart. Ethereum, BTC Ethereum pair definitely tacking on some gains. The next chart we're going to look at actually is doing even more than Ethereum is against Bitcoin's value, but it's currently trading at like 1900. We were waiting for 1700 and people were saying we were like dreaming, but we actually, if you remember back, 1700 wasn't that was like where we were not guaranteeing, because we don't guarantee anything in trading, but that's where we were like, I'm super, super confident it will hit 1700. But I'm thinking that we might even see some higher. So our 618 retrace sitting at 2100 might not be a bad place to take a little profit if you're in a weird long or an uncomfortable position, or if you're just trying to readjust your portfolio or you want to be in more cash. Not a bad place to look. Looking to the left, if we were kind of use the weekly, that number would likely be more like 2500, as we can see weekly closes here, found support before falling lower. Those are both solid targets. Ethereum is really flexing. It's interesting to me. Maybe it has to do with the upcoming merger. Who knows? But VWAP is rocketing up. Money flow is very quickly moving to positive, and this momentum is itching to roll over. So Ethereum is looking excellent. And in fact, I kind of look at it in the monthly. Dang. Almost made it back to its monthly open at 19.3 last month. That would have been glorious if it could have closed last month at 19.3. What about the quarterly? Here we go. Quarterly target, man. If Ethereum were, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, but just informational. If Ethereum were to move back and test a bullish engulf on the quarterly, that would put it at 3,280. That's a pretty big gain. That's got to be, yeah, 70 something percent. That's huge. Now, there's no guarantee it will do that. And we do see, unlike Bitcoin, we do have some reason to see some resistance on the quarterly. We have this wick here, Q1 of 2022. That's likely going to have some kind of selling pressure there. And of course, guess where it is? Right around that 2100 area. It's like too good, too easy to be true, I guess it feels. What I do like as well, Ethereum, it finally broke. And it moved in a very technically sound way. It hit resistance, the previous all-time high at 1400. It pulled back ever so slightly. Buyers weren't having it. Pushed price back up above 1400. Back tested it as support. Moved right to resistance at 1700. And look at this lackluster selling. These tiny red candles. This was showing that market makers are really not that interested in selling Ethereum at 1700, despite that being such a huge price point on this chart. Bulls picked it back up, and we can see the daily now has tested that. We've closed just above 1700, bullish engulfed out of there. Ethereum, in my opinion, is looking for 1200, or yeah, 1200. That could take until the end of the week. Could happen today. I'm not going to bet on it happening today, but could happen this week. Could happen into the next week. This chart's looking very nice, and actually, if it can make it high enough, if it can make it up to like that 2500, you start to maybe even have a V-shaped bottom, which could be a very strong sign of maybe an even longer term reversal. Definitely jiving with that. Actually, here's something I didn't notice, and something I pointed out on Bitcoin that I said I'm waiting to see this happen on the weekly. It hasn't happened yet. It has happened for Ethereum. We have seen our buying momentum roll over, or our selling momentum roll over to buying momentum. But not just that, it has exceeded the high of buying momentum in April. So our momentum on a macro scale is gaining strength, at least at this moment. So the important thing, of course, is this candle, this weekly, is not closed. If Ethereum gets monster sold off into the end of this week, it's very likely that this will move back down and maybe we won't have a new high. But if we can close with this candle and this momentum higher than April, 2100 seems like a pretty easy ask. Pretty easy ask. The only kind of reservation I have is on the weekly. We could say this wick technically back tested it, but we didn't get a clean back test of 1200. That would have made me feel a little more comfortable on the weekly. However, typically if you are going to paint like a V shape and you're looking to move back up and make real retracements, you do tend to skip some of those supports. You do tend to skip the back tests. And essentially what that's doing is it's keeping longs out. It's keeping people who sold low, waiting for lower, and not giving it to them as this market seems to love to do. All right, let me power through a few charts here. This one, BNB. BNB has just been wild to me. I bought a little bit of BNB when Binance came out simply because you could get trading fee rebates. I never used that. I just held them. Look at this chart. This is not BNB against the dollar. This is BNB against Bitcoin. So this is way more impressive. There are virtually no charts from before 2017 that are at or broke their all-time high value against Bitcoin this year. Not even this year, last year as well. I can name like Doge did, BNB did. I'm sure there are others, but I don't know them. That's how few there are. So that is why this is just so spicy to me. We had brought this up in previous episodes of kind of a sideways trading channel. We said these do have a probability to break to the upside. We finally got that little peekaboo and a solid close. Solid close on the weekly. Market Cipher could look stronger here, to be honest. Could look stronger here, but that momentum is just not showing signs of weakness. This weekly candle could literally come all the way back down to the previous high back here, back test it, and bounce and run, and you would get an extremely big measured move, actually. You get a very large measured move if that happened. Our 1618 would put us up at 0179, and our measured move would put us at 0225. Now, no guarantee those are going to happen, but BNB, for what it's worth, is in price discovery against Bitcoin. And the reason that's so exciting is I can't name many that are doing the same. I don't have an explanation. Perhaps, CZ, along with Sam from FTX, have really been making some moves during this bear market. Maybe that's being reflected in their token. I don't know. That's just speculation. But what I do know is I can't name many charts that are in price exploration against Bitcoin. There's very, very few. Very, very few. In dollar terms, it's reached back to its 618 retracement at 323. So that tells us this could be not the absolute worst place to take profit if you're in an uncomfortable position. If you look kind of left a little more, you'll see that not only is this the golden pocket retrace, but it's also a pretty critical level to BNB in its history. On the way up, it acted as resistance. You can see it was very contested, acted as resistance, acted as support, acted as support, acted as support. It fell through support, acted as resistance, and now we're back testing this again as resistance. It's quite a spicy chart. We were just looking at this for Bitcoin, and I believe we came to the conclusion that it would have to reach 37K or something to make the equivalent move. Let me check that quick. 32.7K, my bad. 32.7K for the equivalent move. That's pretty spicy. It's already up there. It's already closed a daily above. And now it looks like maybe it's holding support here. So it's really hard to ever go long on something that's like just going up like this, because that's how you end up buying local tops. I honestly, well, not financial advice. I'm not going to trade BNB right now, but if I were, I'd likely be looking for a short position, even though I don't think it's going to play. I still probably be looking for something like this, using maybe our highs and getting a nice risk to reward down here, something like this. simply not because I don't think it's going to go up, but simply you're already so high. You've already kind of missed out on these pretty solid price points. No, 320 isn't the worst, but you're buying what is the top potentially of like, what, a weekly candle? Yeah. You're potentially just buying right here as, who knows, maybe BNB paints like an inverse head and shoulders and then comes out like this. And so you bought here and now you're panic selling down here. Now you're panic buying on the way back up. This is going to be a hard one to trade. It's going to be a hard one to trade. If you do decide to trade BNB, watch BNBBTC closely. If it falls back below the previous all-time high and fails to find support, you're likely sitting on a crapper. It's likely sitting on a crapper. I'm not doing anything. I sold a little bit of my BNB. I think I sold some last year in 2021, kind of in the 008 to 011 range. I have a bunch of BNB left. I'm not really interested in taking profit here. I will lock in some though. I will be looking to lock in some profits if it does reach up to these measured moves. So do as you will. Do as you will. I want to take a look at ETC because our trade nailed it and because it's potentially having a big day again. And then we'll get to the requests and stuff. We'll see what you guys want to see. I'll read the chat. Let me just jump through ETC. We originally went short on ETC because we had basically what I was just explaining about BNB. We originally had a short and we said, this looks good, but we don't want to jump into a long after price has gone up, after upside price action. We're going to look to trade against it with a tight stop. That did get stopped out. However, we said, but if ETC comes back down to the 23-ish area where we saw some support and we don't break our lows, then we have a really clearly defined take profit target. This trade went beautifully. It went beautifully. It did overshoot our take profit a little bit, but you can see it sold back down and now it's right back at that high. So I'm keeping an eye on ETC. I think, honestly, it's very likely that Ethereum and ETC are doing some kind of dance right now as this merge talk gets more and more intense. As ETC literally is Ethereum, they forked off many a year ago. They are the same chain. They were the same chain. And I think people are speculating that once Ethereum moves to proof of stake, that maybe people will either lose confidence or miners will move or whatnot. And they're speculating on ETC picking up some of that slack. I don't know how I feel about that. You guys know I'm skeptical in general of the merge. I'm not really bullish on it. I know a lot of people are. You're welcome to be. This is just my opinion. I'm skeptical. I'm paranoid a little bit in crypto. Dang. Yeah, going long here is nuts. It's nuts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now potentially the top of 6 green candles. That's nuts. It's too risky for me. Got a little resistance there at 48, it looks like, on the weekly too. And then definitely in the 50s up here from these weeklies. But it's an interesting chart. It is. It's really packed on a lot of gains. I think it even closed maybe a bullish. Yep, bullish engulfed monthly last month. A few coins did that to my surprise. Not that many. Ooh, great. Last month already closed, already locked in a waning selling momentum candle. We looked at that on Bitcoin earlier. Yes, it did back here do that and it faked us out. So these signals are never definite. But we are looking to close the second waning momentum candle in a row on a strong close for this monthly. And if we get it, I really don't see much holding it back. I don't see much holding ETC back from at least maybe this monthly resistance up here. Of course, you probably dick around in like the $50 psychological range for a little bit just to get everyone freaked out. But $70, if $70, retest this monthly high. I'm not saying it's going to go to the moon or break through and go to a new all-time high, but I think that testing 50 and maybe in a slower way, testing 70 is probably on the table, especially if we see the rest of the market heat up, which we really haven't yet. Bitcoin dominance has been dropping despite it being a bear market. Again, another irregularity to the previous cycles. In the previous cycle, Bitcoin dominance was at its lowest basically at the peak of the bull market. And then as soon as the bull market was over, we saw dominance rise back up. We're not seeing that. Bitcoin dominance is really about as close to its low as it's been. Let me just pull it up really quick. And then I am pulling up chat just to show you guys quick. We looked at this a few days ago. Not looking too bullish. It's only, what, 1%? Looks like 39.1 Bitcoin dominance. That means Bitcoin is 39.1% of the total crypto market cap back in January of 2020. And it reached back up to almost 50, but it got rejected. This is not what we see. Typically, we would expect Bitcoin dominance to drop when speculation appetite increases, when people are feeling more risky, when they're looking for higher return, when they're looking for more risk and more reward. That's usually what we see in a bull market. We are in what everyone is saying is a bear market, and we're not seeing Bitcoin dominance act that way. So there's just something fundamentally not the same going on in this cycle. And so be wary. Be wary. I was the most avid TA of, we have seen this 4-year cycle over and over and over again, and it is the same every time, and every time we have the same feelings and we say the same things, and it always ends up being the same. That has steered me not in the right direction this time, because almost nothing has been the same. It's mind-boggling, and I think I was going to do a little video on it, but I'll give you guys a brief cap. What I think really changed. So this is the previous cycle. You can see literally from the start of 2017, Bitcoin broke its high, I think late 2016, early 17. You can see it just consistently dropped. It made these momentum legs and dropped. And then it slowly crawled back up. It hit its lowest point January 2018. That was the end of the bull run. And the bear market started, and Bitcoin dominance trended back up as people's risk appetite became less. They said, man, I'm down a ton. I don't want to be buying these low cap things. I want to get back into Bitcoin, into like a safer asset. And we're just not seeing it. I think that the explanation is right around here in this area. I think feel free to correct me. I'm going to pull up the chat. You feel free to correct me, but right around here, right around the peak of the previous bull run was when Tether really started to get popular. Binance was out. Binance had all these Tether pairs. And so previous to that, I know some of you think there was always Tether. There wasn't always stable coins. You used to have to go from fiat to Bitcoin, and then from Bitcoin to alts. And so when everything started hitting the fan, you had to go from your alts to your Bitcoin, and then from your Bitcoin into cash. And so maybe we are seeing not just dominance play out, but maybe this whole cycle is playing out differently, because virtually every single asset, every token, every coin, no matter how crappy they are, has a direct stablecoin pair. People don't even really know what Bitcoin pair trading is anymore, and it's mind-boggling to me, because for the majority of the existence of Bitcoin and alts, that's what we traded. If you ask, a great way to know if someone's an OG crypto trader is to ask them if they have traded Bitcoin pairs. If they say yes, they're probably an OG. All right, there's my little rant. I wanted to look at Flow. Flow, we identified this falling channel. I wouldn't even really look at it yet. Got to get back to like 850. You can still fall back into this channel as it did before. This is too risky for me. Too risky. Near has made some upside moves. Has retaken May's low. Let's see where the 618 is, and then we're going to get to the chat. 0.5, about 750. Maybe not a terrible target. I think that it can make it there. Kind of return to over here's daily resistance. Let's look at this quick. Market Cipher's looking actually kind of beast on that. That's not a huge upside from here. It's at 580. So like to 750, it's not a huge upside. So I think as a responsible trader, I'm not going to take this trade. But if I had a gun to my head that I had to trade this, I'd probably trade it something like this. It'd probably be like this. Looking to stop like above the above this daily resistance, and looking to take profit, I guess, at back down here, simply because we can't really squeeze a good risk to reward. We might even be forced to move that stop loss down so we can get a decent risk to reward there. But Not too much going on with the near. Celsius I wanted to look at simply because it had a big gain in the last 24 hours. I don't like this chart. I'm not touching this coin. Screw you, Celsius. Give me my money back. Give me all of our followers' money back. You guys suck. All right. All right, we're done. I got through everything I wanted to get through. So now I can read the chat and vibe with you guys and see what you're feeling. Let me just pull it up here. What's up, Stewie McDuffin? YFI TA. I did get an alert that YFI hit like 11K or something. I know that someone asked me to look at it, I want to say 1 or 2 streams ago, and I set an alert. And not looking too bad. I think during that stream, I was talking about a 10,500, saying that's likely to be a pretty big resistance if you can even break over 7,500. And it did. What I do like here is it broke above 10,500, and it does look like it does look so far on the daily to be holding support there, maybe flagging out. We're seeing our highs come down and our lows come up. I have trouble being bullish on this, honestly. The chart looks decent. It looks decent. I think that there's absolutely a play here. What I like is, unlike the other ones, you know, we might be able to look to take some kind of long position simply because, like, we're not at the top of the candle. We've now consolidated sideways for like a week. Maybe we could play something like this. But the reason I don't like this coin and I'm not going to buy it or trade it is some of you might not remember this, and I, again, might be misspoken. It might be YFI 2 I'm talking about, but who cares? They had a total supply of like 36,000 coins. It was trading very high, and then the devs like magically created another like 6,000 coins. I don't F with coins where anyone can just print coins on demand. That's not decentralization. And that's basically, when they print those coins, they're just taking value. It's like inflation. They're taking value from everyone else. I don't want to be stuck holding their bag. I will say it doesn't look bad, and especially doesn't look bad above, I would say, 10,300, 10,500. So it's an interesting chart. You can see I have an alert set. If it breaks, what was that? No, that was July's high. If it breaks July's high, I mean, I can definitely see it returning to 17,000. Maybe as high as 22. Time will tell. It's just not my favorite. It's not my favorite. Don't love it. Don't love it. Here we go. Near will run prior to the days of NearCon. Are you going to NearCon, Andrew P? What's that? When's it at? I wasn't invited. ETHBTC pair been juicy. Yeah, ETHBTC pair. I was talking about ETHUSD and how it's like deviating from Bitcoin, and so that its ETHBTC pair clearly must be doing well. I didn't even open it. There's a lot of gibberish written on here. Let me just get rid of that. That is juicy. That is very juicy. What I'm seeing here is some kind of, so it painted a head and shoulders, okay? It even had the little back test of the neckline and rejection, but its V-shaped recovery here, I'm starting to think this is going to be one of those scenarios where you have a head and shoulders followed by an inverse head and shoulders. I don't know if there's a technical name for it, but it is a regarded pattern. So that might look, let's see, something like this. Doesn't necessarily have to go all the way down here, you know, it could go like that. But I'm starting to see the potential of the head and shoulder plays out into the inverse head and shoulder, and then maybe we see our 2021 high break. If we zoom out, we still have the flippening up here written, so we can get rid of a lot of this. All the way up here, the flippening. I'm still blown away. I cannot believe that Ethereum didn't reach 0.1 last year. I sold Ethereum starting at 0.055, pretty much every 0.005 up to, I think I sold just a wee bit at like 0.77 or something like that. I took some profits. I still have a good bag of Ethereum, but I really was planning on selling about half my bag that was left at 0.1. Didn't reach there. Kind of surprised. To get to the flippening, ETHBTC needs 100% gain. To get to that 0.01, it needs a 40% gain. Those are big gains. That means if you have 1 Bitcoin worth of Ethereum right now today, and tomorrow it magically, the flippening happens, you now basically have two Bitcoin worth of value now. You've doubled the amount of Bitcoin value. I'm not going to get into Bitcoin pairs too deep, but I'll put a video out on it. But the FBTC pair, good call. It is looking strong. I'm digging it. What's up, Josh Carrero? You should invite Tyler Ress, Crypto R Us George, Crypto Zombie, Crypto on your show one day. You know what? Hell yeah. I would love to have all of them. I've invited Tyler S many times. Tyler S is elusive. He's scarce. He's a finite quality. Me and him chat. We've talked about it, but I haven't been able to convince him. George, I just don't know how to get a hold of George. I've kind of like tried to reach out. Crypto Zombie, I can guarantee, well, I won't speak for him, but I can all but guarantee I could get him on one day. Crypto, I have no idea if I'd be able to contact him or not, but I'll give it a try. Give it a try, why not? But I would love to have George on. If you guys are George fans, if you're in his George fan club, let him know that I would love to collaborate with him. I just don't really have a way of contacting him. Just printing coins, exactly, Dennis. I don't invest in things where someone can just print. That's what fiat is. That's why we're in this system, to get away from that. What about Ape, asks Dorbin Ivanov. It's a good question, and I don't know. So let's pull it up. Let's pull it up. Ape is doing pretty ape. It's doing pretty ape. So I will say this. We kind of summoned out of nothing. We just using our Fibonacci extension and retracement tool, we kind of summoned this support. It did not build support there on the way up. Not just one big green candle. But using our retracement, it did give us, let's see, it traded as low as $8 or $3.08 in our 618, $3.55. That's pretty darn good. It was a knife to buy there. I didn't buy there. Since then, it's up. Looks like 113%. You do look like you're grinding into that resistance, though. Let's see. On the weekly, actually, I kind of like that. On the weekly, you don't see that resistance as much. On the daily, it's pretty obvious, I think. Like right here, you can see a bunch of candle closes and opens. Yeah, a bunch of candles and closes and opens where resistance just kept price down before pushing it lower, and it's slowly grinding back up there. If I had bought at 3, if I'd bought at 355, price, let's just say $7 now. At 2x, if I did it, this is how I would play it. I would sell half my bag. I would take my principal out, and now I have half of the ape I originally had, but it has a zero cost basis. So if ape goes to $100, awesome. If ape drops down, goes below 355, goes to $1, goes to wherever, I don't care because it costs me nothing. I literally can't lose that trade now. I'm talking about spot, obviously. That's how I would play this. I don't own any ape. I don't own any Bored Ape yachts. I don't own any clubs like that, so I didn't get anything. We called the top on it. We sniped that like $27. And we sniped, it looks like the 3, so I guess we can chart it better than we can own it. I don't know. Maybe it is time, actually, because that bottom is looking somewhat convincing to me. Maybe it is time to look at the reverse. 618 back up would be around $11, $12-ish dollars. That rhymes. That rhymes. That is, that's where we called this Adam and Eve pattern. Found support there. I would definitely look to lock in some profit if it makes it to 12. If I had entered lower. Really, if I'd entered any time other than before it fell. Or, yeah, any time before it, like down here. There's not a ton of chart history, but the daily does look pretty strong in ape. It's grinding back up. I can just like see with my eyes, like not even horizontal lines or anything. I can just see the resistance here. It's like that slow push. Can see like sellers keep bouncing it back down, but they're not really making any progress. I would be weary of maybe a trend line like this. Something like this, maybe. Like if you fall out of this, you're probably falling farther. Let me see. I'm just going to leave that one there. Yeah. Put an alert. It's just battling. It's battling out all the orders I got trapped here. So we'll see. We'll see if the bulls or bears win on that bad boy. Who knows? Who knows? We did have a pretty slick call on it though, not gonna lie. Pretty happy with that. I gotta start closing charts because I'm losing myself in them. Okay. Don't need dominance. I'll keep BTC up. Don't need flow. Let's take a peek here at our gainers. Bitcoin up in the last 7 days, 5%. Ethereum up 16%. We saw that reflected in ETHBTC. BNB up 9%. We saw that reflected in BNBBTC. Celsius, that's why I looked at it, is the biggest gainer in the last 7 days. I wouldn't touch it. You do you with your own money. Flow. We looked at flow. I just there's just no. Sure, the bottom could be in. Could be. Oh, is Miss Teen Crypto here? Is that Miss Teen Crypto I see? And Steve. What's up, Steve? How you doing, brother? How you doing, my friend? 300 likes. We have 280 likes. We have Miss Teen Crypto and we have Steve here. Let's get 420 likes, man. Let's blaze it. It's good to see you. It's good to see you both. I love you both. Thanks for stopping in. Optical Art, always on point. Yeah, dude. Optical Art, he was one of the... I used to watch Optical Art. Like, he was one of the people that, like... You know, we do TA very differently, but he's one of the people that I watch do live TA on YouTube. And, like, it helped me establish my own kind of method of TA, my own ninjutsu style, if you know what I mean. TC and Frankie Candles was awesome. Yeah, that was a great collab. I love Frankie, man. He's a great dude. We are blessed in the crypto space. Yes, we have some bad apples, but we are blessed because we have a lot of really great people who you would think that you would assume, or I would assume that everyone would be like very egocentric, right? In like the streaming crypto world, like I'm the best and I'm always right. Maybe I'm lucky and just don't run into those people, but like they just don't seem to be around. We have really kind of solid people. I dig it. Nice. I randomly pulled up Bitcoin Gold. Randomly pulled it up. Looks like it hit at 618 retracement, bounced from 13 support. Now it's battling with 33, huh? Not that spicy. Bitcoin Gold is a fork of Bitcoin. It's like a GPU kind of Bitcoin. You know what? Here's some alpha, actually. You're not going to find this either anywhere else. With the Ethereum merge coming up, people are speculating on ETC, which is a fork of Ethereum, because they're saying, oh, the miners are going to move to ETC once they can't mine on the ETH proof of work chain anymore. Well, Bitcoin Gold is a fork of Bitcoin that also can be mined with GPUs. I think it's ASIC resistant or whatever. And so there could be a speculation play. I'm not endorsing buying it. I own some of it from like forks and crap, but like there's just as much reason to think people may switch that hash power over to Bitcoin Gold. I think there's an argument to be made there. I don't think that that's nonsense. I don't think that's gibberish. Certainly it's not an endorsement of Bitcoin Gold, but that money flow is looking solid. View up's rolling up. Momentum's moving up. That's a really high in momentum. If 33 breaks, 72, you can see it actually happened. There must be this is on Bitfinex, very low volume. I should probably look at another exchange. That's just illiquidity. But if 33 breaks, man, you could be looking at 72 pretty quick. Unfortunately, as always, we're just going to take the contrarian view and we're going to do something like this because we're contrarians. There we go. That looks solid. And maybe you can do both. Can we get a good R to R? We can get a good R to R. There we go. Both trades. If one hits and one doesn't, they minus 11%, minus 7, minus 23%, plus 39. Yeah, if you hit one of two of these, you're sitting pretty. I didn't really want to spend time on Bitcoin Gold. V-Chain waking up. What's up? In your opinion? We looked at that recently. Jason Casper is the man. Is Jason Casper still here? We've had like a star-studded episode today. What's up, M Stone, my man? M Stone, OG of this channel. How you doing? No name liked. Thank you. I like you, man. Appreciate the thumbs up. Appreciate the engagement. Appreciate the engagement. All the engagement, liking, subscribing, talking, chatting, voting, all those things count as engagement. And when YouTube sees people engaging with the live stream, it says people are enjoying this. So I'm going to go find other people to show this to. So it really does help out. It helps us grow. So keep chatting it up. Keep liking, subscribing. You guys know. You know the deal. What's up, No Name? Clay01, Sputnik, aside from Ken Morrow, aside from Market Cipher, do I use other software? Well, I mean, technically this is TradingView, so yes. You'll see me pull up MACD, the histogram here. I definitely use that a lot. I used to use RSI all the time, but Market Cipher has RSI built into it, and I've gotten really used to looking at it that way, so I don't typically take up more room. Though I say that, and then I spot a bullish divergence I didn't see earlier. We have a lower low in RSI on the 1 hour, and technically a higher low for now. I use moving averages. I typically use moving averages on higher time frames. The problem is that we're just so far away from most of them when it comes to like the daily. I usually use them on like the daily time frame. We're just so far away from the majority of them. Like the 200 daily is at 33K. The 100 actually almost interacting with price here. Much closer than I thought. Good eye. The 200 or the 20 on the day, we're above the 20. That's actually pretty nice. That means we're above the middle of the Bollinger Band, which I don't really think we've been above for a while. Oh no, we've been dicking around there, back up and forth, back and forth. Our Bollinger Bands are tightening, and that's suggesting there's volatility coming. We got a bullish cross back here. Didn't really get us too far. I do like this. I do like that the 20 daily and the 200 weekly are kind of overlapping. But unfortunately, the 100 sitting there right at 25.3, if anything, is just going to strengthen this resistance. It's going to increase the amount of potential resistance at that level. That's kind of what I was saying, is we might see something like this. That would be awesome. We might get like a big blow up rally, but I think that that gets faded. So I'm hoping we don't get that. I'm hoping for the slow roll, the slow burn. Dang, that 100 is virtually overlapping 25.3. That's unsettling, but it does mean maybe I can open up a little bit more short there. We'll find out. Why is it doing this? Why is it not undoing my writing? Undo my doodles. Undoodle me. It's not undoodling me. Oh well. I'll have to manually undoodle. Okay. I do like Bollinger Bands, especially on higher time frames. I love Ichimoku Cloud. Love Ichimoku Cloud. And in fact, I had something I forgot at the beginning of the episode I wanted to show you on Ichimoku Cloud on the weekly. So we have been struggling on the Ichimoku Cloud. We got a seriously bullish signal here. It did take us to a new all-time high, but it did not do what we would typically expect a cross above the clouds to do, which is like what we saw back here in May of 2020, which is a continued explosive rally over like a year. Then we got a cross down under the clouds, which is extremely bearish. You can see we found support and resistance there. We got rejected. We're below the clouds. Not a good look, but there is a little bit of hope, and this is what I forgot to bring up, but I was planning on talking about earlier. We're above the 200. The TK has just dipped down. The TK is the green line. KJ is the purple line. You can kind of think of them as moving averages. The green is a shorter moving average. The purple is a longer. They're not quite moving averages, but it's the easiest way to kind of two-word explain it. What I do like is that the KJ above us is flattened out. It's flattened out. And it's sitting at pretty much our 618 retracement. So if we look at it this way, right here, from our 48K high to our 17.6 low, our golden retracement, our golden ratio is overlapping with that Kaijun. This is a very compelling piece of evidence to me that market makers are going to look to push price there at some point. Even if it's a dead cat bounce, even if it's like hammer time, they're going to want that liquidity. This is not going to go down. This is not going to go down. It will take, I think, something like 1 second, 26 weeks from our high to our low. 26 weeks. So it would take a very long time. Let's see from here. It would take almost until the end of the year. If we don't break this low, it would take like till the end of the year to see this move down. But that's interesting. Price, you can knock Ichimoku Cloud if you'd like. I think it's a really great tool. You probably don't know what it does if you don't like it, but it's basically showing you the middle points of your swing high and swing lows. And what's important, or I guess kind of full circle education, the midpoint of your highs and your lows is also your 0.5 retracement. So that's your most common place for price to retrace, whether it goes up or down. That's why you see prices pretty much always moving towards these. What sucks is we haven't closed this weekly. We want to close it above the TK, and then we have to hold it. We can't. We definitely don't want to see it close above and then just lose it again. That's a ticket to Goblin Town. But if we do stay above the TK, you can see that's pretty much how bull runs go. Starting from back here in May when we got above the cloud, the weekly pretty much stayed above the TK the entire bull run. There's a few candles kind of here where little hesitation or rejection, but for the grand majority of the run up, right about here, so for 190 days, that TK held, and as soon as we closed the candle below, as soon as we closed a weekly candle below the Kaijun right here, April 21st, that's when it was, in hindsight, like all over, or at least for the time being. We got that really savage weekly cross above the clouds, which should have been super bullish, but it just didn't have what it takes. So the first step really on the weekly time frame for Ichi is to get back above the TK. We're finally there. We haven't been above the TK. We haven't opened a candle above the TK since April of this year. So it's a pretty significant, this is a pretty significant potential weekly close here. That's 120 days. What I do like as well is clouds are typically viewed as resistance or support. So it doesn't really matter what color they are. It matters where the candles are in relation to them. So we're below the clouds, and so whether it's green or red, we would expect there to be resistance here. So what I do like is it looks like up until the end of October, we have a very thin cloud above us. That can suggest that there isn't a lot of resistance there. Of course, that is provided we retake the Kaijun at 32.8, 32.7, right? That 618 retracement. But if we retake it, we may have a good setup. If we trade sideways all the way through this year, like I'm sure many people are assuming, there's the problem. You can probably see it. That cloud starts to fatten out. That starts to create a larger, stronger resistance. It does. This is like my own TA. I don't know if this is actually TA for Ichimoku Cloud, but this is how I've used it successfully for a long time. Is what we find is the fatter and flatter a cloud is, the more magnetic price is to it. So if we do see this awful scenario where we just really go sideways into the end of the year, I would fully expect, if this cloud continues to stay flat, that price will reach 43K. If we are somehow above it by then, I don't want to get your hopiums too hopiumed, but if we're somehow above it, we may then say, okay, well, it's a fat flat cloud. We're likely to come back and test it as support. And if we can bounce there, actually, that creates a crazy pattern. If that does happen, check that shit out. Holy hell. If that does happen, it would create like the craziest, biggest inverse head and shoulders man has ever seen, perhaps. That's pretty crazy. That's a lot of steps ahead. We're not there yet. We're like nowhere near that, but it's, you know, it's just like an interesting practice, warm up, who knows. How you doing, Beardy Day Crypto? I feel like you haven't been around as much lately, brother. How are you? I hope you're doing well. Kelly Kellum, how you doing? Use it the same way. More resistance and magnetic. Dude, it is. It's, I think I like termed that coin for it magnetic. Like it doesn't guarantee that price goes there, but if you look and you watch charts long enough, and especially on longer time frames, the fatter than flatter the clouds get, just the more often price tends to move to them. Likely, I would say, has to do with liquidity. Yeah. Oh, you're still here, Miss Teen Crypto. Miss Teen Crypto, we were chatting earlier, and she made my day. So big shout out to her. Go follow her. She made my day. She made me feel good about something that's been bothering me. So Thank you very much, darling. I'm gonna shout you out. I'm gonna put your link in chat. Go ahead and follow her. She is as smart as she is beautiful, ladies and gentlemen. What's up, the pickle? How you doing, my friend? Loopring Sumonth. Is Loopring doing anything? You know, I haven't looked at ADA. There is a chance for ADA because I even said we would look at it and I didn't. Like a big old ass. Big old arsehole. We'll pull it up. Much love for you. Thank you, darling. I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you. We got double wrecked. Man, it looks like we almost got triple wrecked. So we don't hide our losers here. We don't hide our winners because none of this is financial advice. This is all just so you can watch me put trades together, see my methodology, and then go be better than me. Do better than me. We got double wrecked here. We did our kind of classy play that worked really well on some other coins recently, where we were basically identifying a channel and saying, all right, we're going to look to go short at the top, long at the bottom, and we're going to hope that we catch one of these winners. ADA stopped us out on the short and then came and immediately stopped us out on the long. And so a big middle finger to you, ADA. However, you're not looking too bad. On the daily here, you're actually not looking bad. Your lows are definitely ascending. I could see some kind of ascending low, kind of flat pattern going on here. You're gonna need to respect those lows, and since it stopped me out twice, I'm very hesitant to go in again. At that point, I'm like kind of revenge trading it. But I would pay attention to this descending or ascending low trend line here, kind of from these daily wicks. I would pay attention to that. You can see we did close yesterday below, but instantly found buyers. If we close below again and we don't see price pop back up 48.2 cents, we can see on the daily actually wasn't back tested here. That would be a logical target. We did back test 46. But if you don't break that trend line, you're looking for some more retracement, I think. Let's see where we might look. 68-ish cents back to the 0.5. You can see a little bit of support there on the way up. There's just not a lot of traded... before we fell, there was not a lot of traded value here. This is very much a void of volume on the way up. So this is the market making price action more efficient by filling in the volume. That's my opinion. What are our indicators saying? What are our indicators saying? Someone subscribed. Hello, subscriber. We have 350 likes. Guys, 70. We can do it right now. We have 500 watching. There's 70 of you out there. Just pick your finger up, put it over the mouse, put it over the like button, click it, and then I love you and you're my best friend. And we'll get to 420 and then we'll all blaze it. It's easy. Or hit, you know what? Or if you don't like the show, you can hit dislike too. You can always change your mind later. Just hit one of the buttons. ADA, I do actually like kind of what I'm seeing on the daily here. We have a higher high. We're waiting for that on Bitcoin here on the daily for momentum. That's solid. We're going to definitely need to see VWAP pick it up. We do not want a higher or a lower high on VWAP. But money flow is remaining positive. Momentum's remaining positive. I'm not hating it. I'm not hating it. What I'm really going to be looking for here in the next day or two, if we see any kind of upside ADA action, is right here. We're very, very close to breaking a money flow high. And when that happens, especially on a daily time frame, you can get some very big upside moves. We're not quite there yet. And literally, it's like at what looks like a horizontal resistance anyway. Could get spicy. It could get very spicy. Let's look at this upside down. It's interesting because ADA is just not really like, the chart is just a little different than most others. Believe it or leave it. Subscribe. Thanks for joining us, my friend. Good to have you. Tacoon // as well. Welcome to our fam. Christina Contreras. I missed that one a while ago. And Tron. Sorry guys, I love you. Sorry I missed you. I think I have my like music volume up too high and my alert volume too low. I guess this. Ask yourself this. If you're ever having a hard time, right? And you don't know what direction to trade. You don't know what you're doing. Ask yourself this. Invert the chart. Would you buy this or sell this? You know, is this bearish or bullish? Just gives you a different perspective. I could see an argument either way. It did break lower. This could be a lower high. So we could see that high retested, and that would be bullish because the chart's upside down. But we do also have this big area down here where we consolidated through the last bear market, built a ton of support. Price just really hasn't come close to it. It tested May's high in the consolidation here, but it hasn't tested anything down here. And so basically, my opinion is the same on ADA. I said, if you don't have any, I've been saying this for like weeks now. If you don't have any, it's not a bad time to maybe pick up a very small bag at like less than 1% of your portfolio. Not financial advice, but like if you have none, if I had none, I might pick up a very tiny amount. And then if 38 cents breaks, then you look to scoop bigger down here at this huge consolidation. And that could be at like 12.5 cents. That'd be a great buy. Don't know if it's going to happen, but we've seen some pretty significant retracement. Let me see. About a 90% from its high to its low. It's an altcoin. It can definitely do more than that. But yeah, I mean, I don't think it's the worst. I'm not financial advice. Make your own decisions. One thing that I can't stress enough, though, especially right now as the markets are very uncertain, please, please, please do not go ham into altcoins. The right play right now is slow. Is in my opinion, DCA, sticking to the big cap, sticking to like basically sticking to Bitcoin, Ethereum. If you're into Ethereum, I'm hesitant, obviously because of the fork. The merge coming up, as I've shared with you guys for a long time now. What the heck? My friend just texted me a million times. Is he okay? Oh no. Okay. He's good. He's good. Our short, I guess, is like pretty similar to where we started, isn't it? Hasn't moved too far. Still down about 10%. Though I feel like price is a little bit lower. Yeah, here's why. So here's a factor that everyone needs to there's so many things you need to understand before you leverage trade, guys. By the way, Femex does have spot. Highly recommend it. They also have paper trading. Highly, highly recommend paper trading, especially if you're thinking about trying leverage for the first time. Go do it on paper. Go paper trade. It's the exact same thing. It's the exact same site. They just give you fake money, and you can win or lose fake money. You don't get the withdrawal, but you get to practice setting orders, sticking to plans, making plans, etc. Femex is our sponsor. They're great. I love them as a platform. But this is just like another little thing that you might not be aware of, and you might be thinking, I'll make some leverage trade. Funding. I don't know what I just did to my layout here, but funding. We had realized about $50, maybe a little more in profit on this trade throughout the weeks. However, you can see our realized P&L is now, maybe you can't see it that well. Here we go. Our realized P&L is now minus $45, and that is because of funding. We are short. Funding is negative, and it's actually had some very, very extremely negative funding times while we've had this open. Enough so that I actually debated closing it at one point. And you can see that's eaten away all of the realized profit and now put us into the red. So we're not just down 11% unrealized on the short. We're also down another 45 in realized losses simply to keep the position open. You guys see me hold leverage positions open on stream, mostly because I want to have, I make content. I want to be able to share it with you guys. If I'm opening and closing them, you really can't see what I'm doing. But leverage is not really designed to be held. It's not a hodl. You don't hold leverage. You typically, you get in and you get out, and hopefully you win, but you get in and out. If funding is on your side, so if I was long right now instead of short, I'd be being paid to stay open, and that's a good position to be in. That's a good position to be in. But essentially, if funding remains this way and price doesn't go anywhere, eventually funding is going to eat my entire position. Yeah, it would take probably like a year, but there's a timer. There's a countdown. When you start a leveraged position, the clock starts and it starts eating away at your capital. There's many facets. So I'm not trying to scare you off. Not trying to scare you off MX or anything, but I just want you guys to avoid some of the mistakes I made. And hopefully that starts with paper trading. I have a video and it's like on my YouTube. It's on like the educational playlist that explains how you can start a trading journal and paper trade. It has the links to both. Go give it a shot. What do you have to lose? If you can nail trades paper trading, you can nail trades in real life. It's the exact same thing, except there's no real money involved. So people tend to do better because there's less emotions, etc. You know. But in theory, if you can do one, you can do the other. All right. So I rambled on about that for longer than I wanted to do. Let me read the chat. What's up, Joe Hein? So do I see Ethereum overtaking Bitcoin in the long term because it may become deflationary after the merge? You know, you're going to get a lot of different opinions if you ask this question to a lot of people, and I can only give you mine. Is it possible that we see the flippening? Yes, of course it's possible. I even have it on my chart all the way up here. Ethereum would essentially have to double in price, like right now. It doesn't have to happen, but for this to happen in this moment, Ethereum would have to double in price and Bitcoin would have to not change at all. That would lead to the flippening, essentially. Do I think it's going to happen? I don't. And that doesn't mean Ethereum isn't a good investment. That doesn't really mean anything other than I've been hearing about the flippening. It just seems to be kind of what people start yelling about when like Ethereum starts topping out, when it starts like being kind of at its peak highs. Certainly I've been wrong in the past. Maybe I'm wrong about this. The way I also kind of view it is, so Bitcoin, what's Bitcoin's use case, right? It's just decentralized money. So I'm trying to find my freaking chart. It's just decentralized currency, right? What is Ethereum? You could say it's a decentralized currency. It's not quite as decentralized as Bitcoin, but regardless, I think people though would agree that it's a utility. It's like a utility or a service, right? It's not necessarily one specific one. Right now, it's to run smart contracts, and people are building on top of that. But in my head, and this is just my reasoning, if Ethereum is a utility or a service, that has a quantifiable value. If actually, I predicted Orchid OXT when Coinbase listed it, and I said this is ridiculous they're listing it. I went and I did the math, and I said how much, because basically they were offering, okay, you get our coin and then you can use it as a VPN or whatever. And I said, all right, well, how much does the VPN subscription cost? I did the math and I said, okay, for this to make sense, Orchid should trade at 10 cents. Orchid ended up trading exactly down to 10 cents. That doesn't prove, it doesn't mean in the future forever. That's, that was probably just mostly luck, but that theory is still with me. A service or utility has a definable value, whereas a currency it doesn't really have that same restriction. I want to say it might not be a restriction, but it's not bound to the good. It is the medium. So the medium itself doesn't really have a definable value, as well as we don't know if it's going to become deflationary. Many people were saying Ethereum was deflationary last year. It was deflationary for all of a few weeks. Didn't really make an impact. Ethereum does not have a total cap, coin cap. Bitcoin does. Bitcoin will, in my opinion, become deflationary because Bitcoin is actually still inflationary right now. That inflation rate is just like 1.8%. It's just very low. But Bitcoin will eventually become deflationary once the block rewards are gone. And there's actually an invisible tipping point that you might not have ever thought of before that happens even before the mining rewards are gone. I don't know about you guys. I've given away, I don't know, at this point, I don't want to think about it, lots of Bitcoin to my friends. And like over the years, like $5 here and there. And of course it was much lower. And I set them up with a wallet and I said, all you have to do is not lose this wallet. And someday you'll have a good amount of money. I don't know how much, but you'll have more than, cost you nothing. Just hold on to it indefinitely. And I said, if it ever becomes an amount that can change your life, cash it in. Out of all the people I had that conversation with, you just drilled into them. You got to all you have to do is have these words. You just can't lose them. Put them in a vault, put them in the bank box, whatever, put them with your, your passport, with your treasures. Out of all those people, I think 1 or 2 didn't lose their key. So there's an invisible deflationary force going on with Bitcoin that right now might not be a super compelling one, but as time goes on and more wallets are lost, Bitcoin will actually reach a deflationary point long before the block rewards are done. And that's going to be whatever the average or passive kind of losing access to keys, whether that's the story I just told, perhaps someone passing and not, sharing their keys, not passing them down. Those coins are lost. There's an invisible tipping point, and we won't actually really even know when we hit that. It's technically possible we already hit that. I don't think that's true. But Bitcoin will become deflationary. Ethereum could become deflationary, but it doesn't even have a total cap. So it's a harder sell for me. That's a really roundabout way of saying it, huh? I really kind of got into that. Not saying it's a bad investment. I have a lot of Ethereum. It's lagging. No. Yeah, I see it. The bit rate dropped like a rock. Dropped like a mother trucking rock. Let's see if it pops back up. What's up, J-Town? I see you subscribing out there. MT also subscribing. Wow, the bit rate is just like chilling at... I'm going to turn my... this never does anything, but I'm going to turn like my wireless and stuff off. The bit rate's just chilling. Okay, we're back. Now we should be back in business, baby. And no, it's back down to 4K. Down to 3K. Let me turn the computer off next to me. Okay, I said don't look at my butt. Now you have to hit the like button. I don't know if that's going to do anything. It never does, but... Yep. We're just losing bitrate. I'll show you what I see. Let's see. All right, you see right here, this number, 1330 KBS, that's supposed to be 10,000. And anytime it starts getting weird, laggedy, buffy, whatever, is when this drops from 9,000 or 10,000 where it's at now. Now it's at 13,000 for no reason. Whenever that drops down below like 7 or 6K is when all of a sudden the stream gets all crappy. There's not much I can do if it keeps throttling, other than I won't say it. I will say this: no matter what, if it gets really bad, I'm going to have to stop the stream just because it'll be unwatchable. But I will say this: we're live here all the time, constantly. We took a little break. I went and had a little fun. I wouldn't call it quite a vacation, but had a little fun this week, and we weren't live a ton, but we are usually live virtually every day. So if you're subscribed, you'll catch more of our alpha. And I'm definitely going to call my ISP because I'm having problems with my business. They're messing with my business. And I don't like when they mess with my business. Hopefully it just settles. Sometimes it's just like weird. Doesn't really look like it's settling, and does it? What's up, Sean Hall, my friend? Subscribing through the lag. I can also say jump in the Discord, guys. Get in the Discord. It's the best way. We don't have a set schedule. Typically we go live at around 1 to 1:30 East, but we do go live whenever the market just gets crazy. And so the best way to get a notification to know we go live is 1, subscribe, enable notifications, hit the bell. But 2 is to also be in the Discord, because you'll definitely get a ping there, even if YouTube isn't liking us that day and doesn't want to send out notifications. I'm gonna close the music because sometimes that's the only thing that's ever kind of helped. Sometimes. Let's see. 4,000, 3,000. Yeah, we're gonna be buffering. Please introduce yourself kindly for our new subscriber. Who's our new subscriber? Sean Hall. Good to have you back. Good to have you back, Scott Lux. Feels good to be here. Miss Teen Crypto hyping it up. I'm sorry, guys. We had the ISP come out a while ago. It was like fixed for like a few weeks. Reboot my network. Yeah, I have. So just so you know, if there's any network gurus out there, we have a few, and you guys have been amazing helps. So I have coaxial, that word, coaxial cable internet. And I have a special modem that's set up to it so I can have gig through coaxial. And so from that special modem, that connects to a hard switch. And so the computer that I stream on goes directly to that hard switch, directly to the modem. Then like the wireless, everything else has its own slot, next priorities on that hard switch. So there shouldn't be anything wrong. Maybe reset, maybe a hard reset on my internet might help. Looks like actually the connection's smooth again. I'm looking at 9,000 kbs. We might be back. It might have just been a temporary lapse. I hope. That usually isn't the case. Morticia 13 Adams. I love Morticia Adams. Her and Jasmine were like my crushes growing up. I loved them. So I love that name. Welcome. Yeah, now we're at 10K. We're kicking it. Everything's fine. I don't know, man. You can also refresh your YouTube page every 5 minutes. That really won't do anything for me, though. Pants off, dance off, Bitcoin dumpo. All right, Manuel. I'm ready. I'm short. Let's go. Let's dump it. Tell us about your vacation. Steve Sokol. I went to Moonrise. I love music festivals. I love EDM. I went to Moonrise in Maryland, and it was a wonderful trip. Danced my freaking brains out. It was like 100 degrees, covered in sweat. It's raging. Yeah, really, like the highlights were pretty much just raging, having a good time. I haven't like done anything since freaking COVID started. Like when it comes to kind of like big events, other than crypto events I've gone to for work, I haven't done anything like kind of for fun for me. And so that was actually really a treat. I really enjoyed it. I wish I had like more specifics. It really was just like, I loved the music that was there. EDM, Excision is more in like the harder, grungier realm. I like it, but it's like not my favorite. I like a little more housey EDM. But I raged hard, had a great time. And we are clearly disconnected again. It might say we're not. It might seem smooth, but on my side I can tell because YouTube is dumping the streams. I can see it. Let's see. All right. Hey, at least we're not shadow banned. Shout out to Beardy Day. Knock on wood. We're actually ranking pretty good. Ranking number 1 for BTC Live, Bitcoin Live number 2, Crypto Live number 1, Bitcoin Trading Live number 2. Not a lot of tags hit, but that's okay. That's okay. We have good fam here. This stream's current bitrate is crappy, and YouTube hates me. We got 440 likes though. That's pretty rad. Very nice. Glad you enjoyed it. I did. You know what, guys? For those of you who don't know, I've been streaming on YouTube Live for, I want to say about 3.5 years. It's over 3 years. I don't know if we're quite at 3.5 yet. And in those 3.5 years, I have never gone on a vacation. And that was like the closest thing to it. So I really did enjoy it. Can I check the rows? I can check the rows for you. Something's really weird. Something's really weird with the stream though. Even if can I check the rows? I can check. Ooh, repeat. Yeah, because now we have 180 watching. We went from like 500. You guys can see it. How well can you see that? Not very well. Here we go. We went from 500s, and then we started having issues, and then So that means people are getting booted from the stream or something. This is YouTube. How long have I been live? Because usually after like 2 hours, it just like gives up on you. It's like, stop streaming, bro. We've had enough. 99 minutes. We're getting close. Funny. We're getting close. Yeah, it's just booting viewers. What? That's so lame. Thanks, YouTube. Dick. But we did get 420 likes. So we all get our 420 license for today, and that's just fine with me. Love your TA, bro. Love you, bro. Crypto smoke. Why no vacation? Honestly, man, because, hey, you know what? It's kind of like a tight-knit group here because it booted everybody. It ended your stream on me. Did it actually end? Because when I refresh it, I don't think it said it ended. If you refresh, it'll probably come back, but yeah, at this point, YouTube's doing something weird. Since it's a tight-knit group, I'll tell you, I'll rehash the story. So I went to college. I got my bachelor's degree, just like everyone my age. I'm a millennial. Got out of college with tons of debt. My degree was worthless. I went into sales because political science isn't a job, apparently, unless you're rich or rich. So I went into sales because that's where the money was. I did all kinds of different sales, man. If you name it, I tried. I did cold sales. I did everything but telemarketing, thank God. And I was working for a big company and I got laid off. I was making like decent money, and not amazing, but decent. And I had unemployment for whatever, 6 months. And I looked for a job. Couldn't find one. Just couldn't find one. This was in 2019. Maybe late 2018, 2019. I just couldn't find anything that was anywhere near the pay, anywhere near the job. And so I said to myself, dude, this is the first time in my entire life where it's not like, go to school, go to high school, go to college, get a degree, get a job, get the next job, get promoted, go to the next thing. It's like the first time in my life where I have 6 months of income, and it's not a lot, but I grew up poor as shit. So like I could make it work. I had 6 months to figure out, what do I actually want to do? You know, I've been selling things for all these years, and I've never cared about what I'm selling. I don't have any passion for it. I sold like, HVAC OEM parts. I did like photography, like cold sale photography, everything. Never cared about it. And I got to just say, what do I love? And it was obvious. Like, I didn't even have to think about it. I had been obsessed with crypto for like a long time at that point. And I said, Bitcoin. Well, you can't apply to Bitcoin, right? You can't send it your resume. Can't like call the business or the CEO of Bitcoin, ask for a job. And so I said, dude, I have 6 months of income. I have a portfolio that, it's not huge, but I have some capital. And so I have 6 months to make this a job. And I said, I guess I'll try streaming. And that's what I did. And here I am 3.5 years later. And the reason I've never taken a vacation really, man, is because I've just been grinding. I've just been pushing this forward. I've just been, like putting every ounce of my soul into this community and these people, and to like help us grow. I need to take a vacation. I definitely do. But you guys know how it is. If you've done anything similar, or, like worked on something you're passionate about, how consuming it can be and how difficult it can be to take yourself away. You feel like if you stop for a second, like even though we were, I don't know, I streamed like 5 days ago, maybe, there's still that like nagging thought in my head of like, it's been 5 days. What if no one watches your stream now? What if no one shows up? Like, of course that's paranoia and a little toxic mental health from being a streamer. It's the most toxic mental health profession you could pick. Haha, la-di-da, didn't know that. But, yeah, I just never stopped, man, because I felt if I stopped, it would all just fall apart. And so I just kept pushing, and here I am today. And now I probably could go on vacation. I could take a break. It just wasn't on the table for years, really, until this year, really until like maybe the end of last year or this year. I just like couldn't do it. Just wouldn't have been able to. So sorry, I didn't mean to get all sappy on you guys. You got 99 minutes. But a bitch ain't one. Shep Jones. Come to Burning Man. Whoa, 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 whoa. Burning Man would be wild. I've never been to Burning Man. I'd like to go. I also want to go to Ultra. What's up, Royal Jut? Welcome. You're joining us at like the kind of like the secret, kind of like not private, but like private part of the stream. YouTube kicked out like all, I don't know, 400 viewers. It left us with just the strongest 200. So I'm spilling some secrets. You work your ass off. Respect. Says I am legend. Great name. Thanks, man. I mean, I agree. I'm not gloating or something. Like, I have put every ounce of my soul into this for 3.5 years, and it finally it's like a real thing. And one of my biggest fears is that it's just gonna not be there. It's just gonna disappear or something. It's rough, but I have gotten to meet so many people and made so many connections, and there's like so many of you out there. You probably like don't think I know your names. Like, I have a very good username memory because I grew up playing MMOs, but like I see you guys. Like M Stone, he was here in like the very beginning. Didn't see him for like 2 years. Day he comes back, I was like, oh my god, M Stone, what's up, dude? Like, I do this, like, I feel driven for you. Like, some days I don't feel like streaming, but I do it for you guys, because I know that, you know, maybe I don't feel stressed out, but maybe it's a pretty stressful day in the market, so I go live anyway. And yeah, I don't know how to quit. I think is really it. I don't know how to give up. Hopefully I figure that out someday. Let's see. If I'm anything, I'm humble, I think. I'm the humblest. No, I'm just playing. Yeah, I came from nothing, man. I'll tell you what, it's not that difficult to be humble when you come from nothing and you work and you build. Like, you take nothing for granted. You're just thankful for everything and everyone. I'm getting a little sappy on you guys today. Hex Flex, and I'll never forget that to the day I die. On my deathbed, I'll say Hex Flex. Love you too, Honda man, and I also love Hondas and Acuras. You're doing great. Thanks, Sierra. You're doing great, and you make me feel great. Bloody feels, I know, man. I know. I turned the music off because the stream was like completely disconnecting. Now it seems okay, but you know, if I turn the music back on, it's instantly gonna crap to bed again. It's gonna crap to bed. You're here for a reason. You know what it is, Wolfman? You're right, but you know what it is I believe, like, this is the only thing in my life that I believe in. Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, like specifically Bitcoin, but cryptocurrency, like, is the only thing that I truly believe in, and I truly believe will change the future and has the power to change the future. And I don't believe anything else has that ability in the same capacity. I think that from what I've seen in the world, things don't change. We just continue them kind of under different names. And I think crypto is the one thing that has the power or the potential to break that cycle. And it gives me hope. And I don't have hope in anything. I went to school for political science. I wanted to work in government. I believed in government back then. Right? I believed in government back then. I thought that government was going to make those changes. And that did not take long after graduating to see that was not reality. And crypto is that thing, is that one ray of hope in my whole life that, you know, it's not even about me like getting rich or something. And it's been very good to me. Certainly it's elevated my life a lot, but like, it's not about getting rich. It's like the power and the potential that the future might not be totally out of our hands. It might not be totally controlled by one person or one group of people, or, you know, I just don't see anything else that offers that. Just don't see it. That's why I'm here, and that's why I'll be here. Even well, yeah, hopefully at some point I'll have a great big announcement for you guys and be like, hey, mother truckers, I'm rich AF. Like, I don't need to stream anymore. Hopefully someday I'll be able to say that to you guys, but I'll still stream. I probably just won't stream as much, but I'll still stream because this is This is what, I don't know. This is what I'm meant to do, I think. It's all I think about. It's all I do. I don't know. We're coming up on 2 hours and I'm getting sappy. You guys want Bitcoin to move. I want Bitcoin to move. And you know Bitcoin doesn't move while I'm live. So I want you guys smash the likes and subscribes. We're going to be live again tomorrow. Check out Femex. Check out Market Cipher, our sponsors. Links in the video description below. Femex, there's up to like $4,000 bonus deposit on your first deposit. Market Cipher, use promo code CROWN for 15% off. I use both of them. You see me trading on Femex. You see me use Market Cipher every day. They're both top of their industry tools. I would not endorse them if that weren't true. In fact, I used both of them long before they sponsored us. I appreciate every single one of you guys. I really do. And even if you don't see crypto, if you don't see the future the same way I do, you're still welcome here. But I have a feeling if you spend enough time here, you'll see it the way I do. Make sure you're in Discord. We're going to do a live airdrop. You're going to get some Satoshis just from being in there. Links in the chat. We'll be live again tomorrow. I love you, fam.